Alright, we need
I was
someone with a
trading with
powerful short
camp inside
range
your
weapon to
territory.
guard the door that
Inside
leads
I'm
to the
already.
room where they're going to
territory.
be
Yep,
interrogating.
already.
Sound muted.
And I know you guys asked me not to. I know, and I regret doing what I did. You know, I maybe should just never set up shop where I did with the ideals I have. But I just wanted to make sure that we didn't have any problems. I moved out of your territory. I supplied your men with weapons, ammunition. I helped them when I could, and I just wanted to continue forth without any ill will.
So how come you traded with Dark as Midnight in the Guardian's territory?
Well, to be fair, from the beginning I've been very adamant about being a neutral trader. I never wanted to necessarily not trade with anybody. The wars and the factions and groups and their quarrels are nothing of trouble to mine, in my opinion. I'm just trying to trade, and I'm trying to get business. That's it.
Do you, do you think that's possible?
But I do actually. I think that if you have a territory, you should defend it the way you feel you should.
Certainly. What I mean is, do you really believe that it's possible to be neutral in a situation like this?
But I'm gonna fucking try.
Well, why don't you listen up for a second? I'm gonna give you my take on it. And you know, I've had a lot of time to talk about this sort of thing and think about this sort of thing. And what it boils down to is this: when you're neutral in the face of injustice, you are on the side of oppression. Um,
I don't think that's
I
true at
don't
all.
know. Well, here's the thing: to say that you are neutral in the conflict between the coalition and the syndicate is to suggest that these two things are two equal ideas, different but equal, equally worthy of merit, equally deserving of a chance or what have you.
No,
And
I didn't say that.
well,
I'm a businessman. Why should I worry about the quarrels and morals of people outside my storefront? Why should I have to fight in a war, pick a side? I'm simply just trying to trade, not be
but
told where to go, who to be talking to,
here's
and
the thing,
give
Jack.
information out to others to perpetuate the violence.
Here's the thing, Jack. Like I said, it'd be one thing to just chalk it up to tribal squabbles if this was about turf, if this was about resource exploitation. It's not. It's about we want to make some basic rules about not having to expect to be robbed or cannibalized or enslaved or murdered. These are basic things, basic rules that I think that everybody would be able to abide by. Surely nobody wants to be cannibalized themselves, so why should anyone else be allowed to be cannibalized? Surely, Jack,
Um,
you don't want to be enslaved, so why on God's earth would you allow anybody else to be enslaved in front of you?
I didn't say that at all. What happens
I'm
outside my
speaking.
doors?
Relax, Jack. This
Okay.
is a friendly meeting. I sometimes speak in a confrontational manner because people need to be shaken awake. People need to be woken up by a little bit of a jarring force. Because I tell you,
We're
I've
out of
been
here for
out
a
there
second.
and I used to think the same thing. That the things I do don't matter. I used to not see my role in things. But I guess what I'm asking you to consider is that you have benefited from what the Guardians have tried to create here in the Northeast. You came up here to do business, right?
Correct.
Well, why did you come up here to do business, Jack?
Correct. Well, because before I knew there was factions in the territories and the land was owned, I thought it was a good spot. That's it.
Well, there are a lot of people passing through here, so you're right. It is a good spot for business. But here's the thing. It didn't get that way by itself. There's lots of highways and byways that you can take to cross this land. And I'll tell you, the northern road, the King's Road, isn't necessarily the best one to get to where you want to go. But it's the one that a lot of us have bled for. It's the one that a lot of us have been trying for a long time to make a reality. And it's slowly, through our efforts and our tears and our spilt blood, has come to be. And we have people that come through this place all the time, and it makes a perfect place for traders such as yourself to find customers. Because we're creating a society. Society is good for trade. People like the Syndicate, like Darkest Midnight Gang, Rangers, Solomon Slavers, the whole lot of them, they are not trying to create a world that's conducive to trade. They're trying to take everything. They're trying to eat people. They're trying to oppress us. They're trying to destroy our civilization and the modest rules we've come to expect from people. That's what I mean, Jack. That's what I mean when I say that you can't be neutral in the face of injustice. What the Syndicate is doing to us in the Coalition is injustice. And they are trying to disrupt the system that you have benefited from. Do you see now in that light why it kind of feels a little, like
Well,
it's a little sting, It's a little
to
sting.
be fair, I would like to add that your men have benefited a lot more from me than I have them. Sure, they've came to my aid, but on several accounts, nothing happened. The danger was already gone. And also, on a separate point, I feel like I might have ended all this bad tension we have towards each other when I moved out of your territory. I don't know if you know, but I'm up at Devil's Castle at the moment. And from what I heard just earlier today, that's Vagabond's territory. And I talked to the leader over there. I'm just trying to set up in neutral territory. I left your area. Isn't that what you wanted? You wanted me to trade or leave, or not, or follow your rules or leave, and I did. I helped you out the day it happened, and then I left.
I haven't spoken to you on what I wanted about through all of this matter, but I understand that that's what Kyle and Dixie were after in all of this.
Well, I'm sorry we didn't get to talk, but it never came to that.
No, it's okay. I'm not the overseer of all things that happen in the Northeast. That's more Kyle's gigs than mine. So I guess.
No problem.
Well, so you wish to continue then trading with groups like the Syndicate, Darkest Midnight, and so forth, and in order to comply with our rules and to do as you intend, you've left from Coalition territories to continue your business there. That's correct?
Point correct.
Okay.
To a certain extent. I'm not necessarily agreeing. It seems to me that you're trying to tie me to this other faction ideal, when that's not the case at all. I am neutral. I don't know if you've noticed this, but I haven't exactly shot anybody. All right? My men around me, they defend me, but it hasn't ever come to the point where, oh, well, I take that back. There's one person I killed, but that's another story, and that was completely deserved. But besides that, I haven't done any ill will. I haven't done anything bad. simply just trying to trade, I don't see the problem.
Well,
I bring good
and
business to everybody.
that's the problem, is that traders never see why I should be upset if they sell a rifle to a madman who then comes and murders my friends with it. They say, I'm not responsible. How could I have known what they were going to do with that gun?
Do you
I'm not
think,
trying to. I'm just saying. I think it's an interesting attitude. I couldn't. Maybe that's why I'm not a good merchant, because I would feel too responsible for the things that people do with the wares that I sell them. If they did something terrible, I would feel like I had a hand in it. You know.
I don't know. Last time I checked, when the civilized world was a thing, they didn't arrest gun shop owners for selling arms to people, and they sure as hell didn't come and knock down their doors when they killed somebody with it, did they? Huh?
They absolutely did arrest gun shop owners when they sold them to people they shouldn't be selling guns to. Law-abiding citizens? No. Following background checks? Yes. Cannibals and anarchists? Not necessarily. So you can see where it's a little different.
Well, like I've stated before, when they walk in through my doors, of the threshold of my store, that's when I judge them. Other than that, that's none of my fucking business. I found out that if I fucking pick a side, I get into your quarrels. Everyone you hate is now my enemy, and that's not a war I'm ready to fight.
So you're concerned about making Darkest Midnight your enemies, but you're not concerned with making the Coalition your enemies by trading with them. Is that what you're telling me?
I don't want to make enemies of anybody. I don't
Listen, Jack.
All right,
Do you know who I am? Do you know who I am?
This is the first time I've met you, so I guess
Okay.
not.
Well,
Fill
like
me
I
in,
said,
enlighten me.
People call me Tex Rockwolf, and my group, the Firekeepers, our words are, our hearts are filled with mercy. So I just want you to remain calm, Jack. I don't intend on hurting you.
Are you?
And
Okay.
In fact,
Well, you're starting to sound like it's going to.
Well, like I said, I like to confront people a little bit starkly with some things they may not have considered to try to shake them awake out of their dream. You know what I mean? So, but like I said, well, here's the thing. I've been called polarizing, Jack, and usually the people that I tell are doing a bad thing, they're the ones that dislike me the most. So I guess what I'm looking at is, I would like to try to find some way that you can get out of you know, the coalition's eyes, you know, without you having to, you know, pay some kind of price, because, you know, it takes a lot of guts to come here and tell me.
See, there you go again with the threats right there. I thought the coalition were supposed to be a bunch of nice guys, but since I got here, I've heard about nothing but rules, regulations, and threats. That's all I've been
What's wrong with rules or regulations?
getting. I'm out of your territory. I don't see why it matters.
You are in our territory right now, so we're talking about it. And you also confess to having committed a crime. You also confess to having committed a crime in our territory, specifically having gone against what we asked you to do, which means you lied to Kyle's face, Jack. After all the hospitality that the Guardians have showed you, you lied right to their faces. You traded weapons to the cannibals. Way I hear it, you not even 20 minutes would pass between talking with them and talking with us. It's troubling, Jack.
Well, you know, I'll go ahead and say this. I've never called on the dam, but when they get there, they're not bad guys. Y'all come around and start telling me what to do.
Because they're not murdering you, feeding you human meat. Yeah, you know what they did to Kyle?
Precisely.
You know what they did to Kyle?
No, I do not know what they did to Kyle.
They captured Kyle. They tied him up. They force-fed him human meat. And then they treated him like a slave until he was able to escape. Forced cannibalism and slavery. Does that sound like something that a swell guy would do, Jack?
Kyle, listen. Basically, I'll boil it down to this. Where do you think I could go that's not going to ruffle some feathers, huh? I tried to do it, tried to go in your territory. It didn't work, so then I left. That's it. If you want to take this any farther, then so be it. I feel like I've said my piece.
I'm
I'll
gonna
just
go
let
speak with some of
one
the
more
other
thing. Your information.
friends of yours.
Not at all. I promise.
That's good. Anyone?
Fine.
Misfire,
It's all right.
misfire,
It's misfire.
misfire.
Alright.
Don't worry.
All
Hey,
right,
don't worry.
all
We
right,
can
all right.
misfire.
Misfire.
Okay.
Misfire.
Jack, why don't you sit tight? I'm gonna go talk it over with Dixie. She knows a little bit more about some of the happenings over at the trade post. I'd like to have her kind of thoughts on this. She'll be over here in just a minute. Why don't you just sit tight, Jack?
Alrighty. Hey, one last thing I want to say is if you're getting information from Dallas, I'd watch him. Yeah, I don't think he's what he really seems.
It's a tricky thing about people, you know. You see it all the time. People come up wearing masks. I hate masks. Makes it easy to hide who you really are. I always tell people when I meet them for the first time, I ask them if they'll take their mask off so we can really get a look at one another. Because that's the trouble. Everyone's wearing a mask. Hell, I'm wearing a mask right now. So are you.
Sorry.
We're both trying to project a certain image of ourselves to one another, and that's not really who we are. It's an idealized version of who we are, featuring or matching somebody's ideal. But yeah, I'll keep that under consideration about your friend Dallas. I try to give everybody the benefit of the doubt, but I'm always waiting for the mask to really drop. I can get a good look at somebody.
All right. I'm sure you'll see. It won't be very difficult.
Excuse me, Tommy.